What's up, family? It's your favorite cousin, Rich. Back again with Rich Talks. This is episode 32. And today, I'm going to be discussing the pursuit of perfection. I think this is going to be interesting. The pursuit of perfection. So let's begin. You know, especially if you live in America, there's this obsession with being perfect. There's this obsession with perfection. Does that rhyme? Obsession with perfection? I think it does. But yes, there's this obsession with perfection, especially if you live in the West. Not the West Coast of America, but the West, the Americas, especially America. But what if I told you perfection was just a human construct? It was something that we as humans made up. There's no such thing as perfection. Literally. The only thing that's perfect is God and the divine, but other than that, there's no such thing as perfection. Nothing is perfect. Not even if you've calibrated a machine to do a job, it's not even perfect. It can be off by a millimeter. Nothing in this world is perfect. Yet, it's something that we all chase. We want to have the perfect appearance. We want to have the perfect car. We want to have the perfect career, the perfect relationship. Even as how we develop ourselves, we want to be the perfect person, as what they say that we should be. Wake up at 5 o'clock and do this and do that and do this and do that. But what if I told you that a lot of these people, especially the media, placed all these things like perfection in your face for their gain, number one, and to keep you in this chasing energy. What if the pursuit of perfection was just a tool to drain your wallet? A tool to drain your sanity? And you say, well, how is that? What if I sold you this skincare that'll give you the perfect skin? Well, let me backtrack. If I advertise to you that you need to be perfect in order to have to be well off, in order for you to live the best life possible, everything has to be perfect. What if I sold you that dream? Perfection is nothing but a sold dream. So what if I sold you this dream? And now in the midst of selling you this dream, and you buy into this dream of perfection, now you need all the trinkets that go with this ideology of reaching this perfection. So you need the perfect career. How does that start? You go to the perfect school. You stress about getting the perfect grades and all this. The perfect marriage. You find the perfect wife that looks good on paper. Also, you can pose to be perfect, being the best. Well, perfection doesn't even mean the best. We have correlated perfection and best together, but perfection doesn't necessarily mean the best. But anyways, you read all the self-development books to be this perfect person, not for you to develop the way naturally that the universe is, guided you for you to overcome roadblocks. Maybe that's why you may be reading them. No. Some people read them in order to follow them to the T in order to be this perfect person. Side note, if you're someone who reads 48 Laws of Power in order to have power over people, it doesn't work. That book is for you turn into a manipulator. I put it like that. If you read 48 Laws of Power in order to have power over people, it turns you into a manipulator. That book is the flip. That book is meant for people to read it, to understand when people are using those tactics against them. And that book is for people to understand how to navigate and ensure they can have longevity, not to manipulate people, not to have power. Side note, I had to throw that in there. But yes, even reading books like that, some people may believe that those purposes of those books is to make you the perfect person. They're supposed to help you. But again, we've bought into this ideology of perfection. So since we bought into this ideology of perfection, we really lose our soul, to be completely honest with you. Because like I said, we're not perfect. Nobody was made perfect. We're all made uniquely. So if we're all made uniquely, the pursuit of being perfect, you lose your identity. You lose who you are. You lose that spunk. What is it? Je ne sais quoi? You lose that uniqueness that makes you you. If everybody is perfect, then we're all the same. How much fun is that? You know, and then if you say, this person is perfect, based off of what ideology? Based off of what thought process? Someone who may have the perfect genetic makeup in America may not have the same genetic makeup in Europe or in Africa, you know, Ethiopia or wherever the case may be. So it's all relative. This human construct of perfection. It's all relative. And that's getting past the thought or getting past knowing that perfection is just a human construct. This is for people who bought into it. For people who bought into this perfection thing, I'm trying to break down and show you that perfection is only, or your idea of perfection or what is perfect is only stands in a specific area. With those ideologies are the same. And that's why I said, if you're in America, you may deem perfection as one way, versus when you go to England, perfection may be something else. You go to Ethiopia, perfection may be something else. You know? So that's why I say there's no such thing as perfection. Yet we all chase it. I think people who buy into perfection and chase perfection don't really love themselves. Either they don't really love themselves or they're trying to play this game of life. And when I say this game of life, I mean this game of life in a political aspect, or climbing the social ladder, that game. More so than playing the game, understanding life and moving about. Because if you played the actual game of life and moved about in those realms, you understand that perfection is something that we made up. It's something that you wouldn't focus on, and you will live life and embrace who you truly were. That's if you were playing the real game of life. But if you play the social structure, you know, the social hierarchy game of life, that's when it comes to perfection is something that you chase. But like I say, the more that you chase actual perfection, trying to climb the social hierarchy of life, it's the more that you lose your soul. It's the more that what makes you unique. Those imperfections that made you unique, that made you loved, is what's being drained. It's what's no longer is there. Now, when I say striving for perfection, that means being perfect. But you can also strive for excellence. See, excellence and perfection is two different things. You can't be perfect, but you can be excellent. And all excellent means is that you've done your best that you can do. You've put your best foot forward. You've accomplished this said task or goal to the best of your abilities. You left it all on the table. That's what excellence means. Excellence means it's great. Not great compared amongst the group, or it can be great amongst your ability. It's still not perfect. Excellence is not perfect, but it's still the greatness. And I preach that you can be great, you can be excellent. There's nothing wrong with that. Because even in that, you're not perfect. Even in that, you're not chasing perfection. Even in that, you're trying to be the best you possible. Not what someone else said, but just the best you can do based upon your abilities, your skill set, your thoughts, your ideologies, all these things that play a part in it. So there's nothing wrong with excellence. I believe chasing excellence is a beautiful thing. When you chase perfection, that's where a lot of people get held up. You know, perfectionist. That's why perfectionist has a negative connotation to it a lot of times. Because this person is chasing something not real. This person is chasing something beyond what is actually being able to be attainable. That's what actual perfection is. It's something that's unattainable. And that's why people, like I said, perfectionism or a perfectionist has a negative connotation, because whoever this said person is not comfortable enough with putting something on display or showing something or resting at a place where it is not necessarily excellent. Excellent is not good enough. I was trying to find the actual way to put it. These people are not comfortable with themselves enough to be looked at in the light where something can be scrutinized, something can be judged. You know, these people are not comfortable in themselves enough. You know, it's a lot of stress that comes along with things of like trying to be perfect. And you say, well, why does a lot of stress come with that? Because perfection is not real. Imagine chasing something that's not real. Imagine trying to chase a ghost. Imagine trying to chase Casper. Do you know how upset you'll be? Do you know how difficult that is trying to catch Casper? Casper the friendly ghost? It's the same thing. Trying to chase perfection is like trying to chase a ghost. It'll never happen. And this leads to mental issues. This leads to people trying to chase a perfection, trying to chase their perfect self. They lose themselves, and now in the pursuit of perfection, you have mental disorders. Because now you feel like you're not good enough because you couldn't reach this perfection. So it's like two things now. You didn't reach perfection, so now you're upset, and now you're not perfect, so now you're double upset. Instead of just doing the best you can and leave it at that. And understand that once you do the best you can, the outcome is going to be the outcome, but you'll be able to live with it. And you'll be better at ease with yourself knowing that you did all you can do. See, if you just aim for excellence every time, and you just try to be better than what you did before, just by a slight margin, and that's it, and you leave it all on the table, your mental health will skyrocket. Your peace will skyrocket. Your self-love will skyrocket. Because you left a little bit of room on the table for yourself. You gave yourself empathy. And now that you just chase excellence and not perfection, some of your best work is allowed to shine. Because now it's you in your purest form trying to reach excellence and not trying to reach something that's perfect. Because when you try to reach something that's perfect, you're trying to appease someone else for your validation. That's all chasing perfection is just chasing validation. You know, I have this theory about when people chase the perfect partner, especially like physicality. But in general, when people try to chase the perfect partner, or people try to have the perfect partner in their life, I've always equated it to, especially the perfect partner who's perfect in the social construct of things. I've always equated that to them not being whole in themselves, them not fully loving themselves. Because they believe that now that they have this perfect partner, that society will accept them because of this perfect partner. Their friend group will not accept them because of this perfect partner, or what we deem as perfect in a partner. You know, you hear men saying, oh, she has to look like this, has to have this. And all these traits and attributes that you say, do they really fit with what you need as a person? Or is these the traits and attributes that society has said that this person has to have? Therefore, that's what you say in order for you to fit into the construct of, or in order for you to be accepted by society. And the same goes for women. This woman could be 5'2" and she says she wants a man who's 6 something, 6'4", you know? And when you really break it down, what does this person's height or any of this have to equate to you having the perfect relationship for you two, or you having the best relationship for you? Is it because now you say you want somebody who's 6'4" because this is what society has stated is the perfect man? So now that you have this person that's 6'4", now you believe that you're accepted by society? So were you lacking self-love and you didn't love yourself, or did you want the acceptance of society? So, or was it both the reason why you went for this person? And yet you have no, connection, no nothing with this person. They just fit the construct of what society has said that these people have to be. And now when you backtrack that even more, the people who told you that, why did they tell you this? Did they tell you this because they knew that you would chase after it? That you would chase after it, and now that you chase after it, they know that it's a slim margin, and that if you put your eggs in this basket, it's not going to pan out the way that you expect it to. Now you've been indoctrinated. That's what I honestly believe. You know, we're living in a society now that we're picking people, the best partners that make Instagram pictures look good. We're not picking people who make our heart warm. We're picking people where we can get the most likes with on Instagram. You skip over the person who's the best match for you, and you choose the person who is quote unquote perfect, so you can get the best Instagram pictures and all this stuff. And now this is superficial. Once you aim for superficial, that's your main target, your main goal is perfection and superficial things and things of that sort, you lost your soul. Why do you think these couples who do that look drained? They don't love each other. They don't know each other. They don't have no communication. Why do you think they cheat on each other? There wasn't no love to begin with, so technically they're not even cheating. Like, they may have some verbal commitment, but they're not even cheating because their heart wasn't even in it. It was all superficial, so I wouldn't even consider it cheating. I mean, technically it would be, but I'm kind of being sarcastic. See, we've gotten so caught up into perfection that we forget to how to actually live life and to embrace and enjoy life. If you sit down and really look at the most beautiful things, it's not even perfect. The Mona Lisa, one of the greatest paintings of all time, it's not even perfect. The Statue of David, it's not even perfect. It may look perfect, but it's not. The perfect person just put their excellence into it. They dedicated their lives to their craft and to being the best that they could and delivering the best product possible. But perfectionism, no. Perfectionism holds you back. Like I said, there's a point between being excellent and a perfectionist. Aiming for perfection and trying to be a perfectionist is hiding insecurities that one has. And a lot of times it's passed down, this idea thought of being perfection. A lot of times it's also passed down from parents who come from other countries. You know, you may have an immigrant parent and they believe in you being perfect, but let's break that down. Why do immigrant parents strive so much for their kids to be perfect? It's because they want them to be accepted. They believe that this will allow them to have the best, outcomes possible. But yet these parents, time and time again, forget that the people that they're forcing these ideologies on have their own life to live. The people that they're forcing these ideologies on are being guided their own way. And that's why you have a lot of kids who are children of immigrants rebel and go their own way. Or if they stick to this road of perfection, they have mental anguish. And to be honest with you, I believe that if you're an immigrant and you aim for perfection in your kids, you somewhat don't love yourself. You somewhat are not, I'm not going to say necessarily appreciative of where you come from, but you're ashamed of where you come from. You know, you don't fully embrace where you come from. You're not fully thankful for where you come from. And you say, well, why is that? Because if you come from another country and you're over here, that should be enough. You know, being in this land of great opportunity, as they say. So you made it over here. Why force perfection on someone else? Is it because you feel like you lack in this department called perfection? Your opportunity is going to be perfect, so therefore you force it on someone else? Or you're afraid that it makes you look bad if your child is not a doctor or a lawyer? You feel like a failure. Therefore, you need your kids to be perfect so you don't feel like a failure. See where I'm going? A lot of times, this is why parents force this ideology of perfection on their kids, especially immigrants. I say immigrants because in America, we don't really force that. We do it for superficial reasons, and a certain class of people do force perfection. But I see it a lot more where parents are coming from a different country. And it's almost, are you ashamed of who you are being in this new country? or you don't want your efforts to go to waste, or whatever the case may be. I see it as on the path of destruction. And this could seem kind of abrasive. How could you say this is the path of destruction when people risk their lives to come to this country and they want their kids to be perfect? Easy. You're forcing someone to do something that is going against their divinity. You know, you can instill certain traits and things in people, but when you force them to be perfect, when you force them inside of these boxes and these constructs, you're doing them a disservice. You're doing the universe a disservice. We don't own people. Even if it's your child, you don't own them. You're doing the world a disservice because this person that you're trying to push in perfection to be a doctor, a lawyer, or this and that, they're missing out on something that they could have been truly called for to bless the world. But because you wanted someone to be perfect for your own selfish reasons, because if we really break it down, it's your own selfish reasons, no matter how it may sound, it is true. Your own selfish reasons. This person is not allowed to be themselves. And I would say to that, what a waste. How fair is that? Another reason I would say people aim for perfection, and not in the realm of them not loving themselves, but this one comes from an act of trying to have control. And you say, well, how does perfectionism lead to control? Because when you aim for perfection, you aim for absolute certainty. See, perfection, absolute certainty, it's on the same construct. But if you don't aim for perfection and you just let things be what they are, now you don't have any control of a certain outcome. Say, for instance, you're having a party at your house, a little dinner party or something, and you ensure everybody's dressed perfectly, the timing is perfect with this, everything is perfect. Do you understand how stale that'll be, number one? You're not letting things go with the flow. So because you have this fear of things going left, you have this fear of things not working out, you have this fear of people talking bad about your party, you have all these fears coming up, what do? You try to control every aspect and ensure that it's perfect. And what happens? It's never perfect. It sometimes, most of the times, ends up worse because it's stale. Or have you ever been in a relationship where someone tried to have absolute control and that control came out in perfectionism? They tried to have you act a certain way that was perfect, move, have the perfect job, all these things that were perfectionist. And all these things that were perfect in their eyes. And they tried to force it on you. But this perfection was just a form of them trying to have control in order to have the best relationship that they believed in. Instead of relinquishing that control, allowing the universe to guide it and the universe to let it flow the way that it was intended to flow. So if you're a perfectionist, which boat do you find yourself in? Is it the I have a hard time giving up control? Or is it the I have a hard time loving myself? Either way, it's both rooted in some sort of insecurity. Either way, it's rooted in some sort of lack of self-love. I say this to people. Don't aim for perfection, just live life. And see how it turns out for you. Truly just embrace it. Go with the flow and just truly embrace things. Give up control to the universe. Give up control to God. See, some of us aim for perfection so much we take God out of the equation. Ain't that something? And with that, I'm going to leave it right there. This is episode 32 of Rich Talks. It's your favorite cousin, Rich. And this is about the pursuit of perfection. I hope this helps somebody today. This is your favorite cousin. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Love and blessings.